You're watching the Huawei P40 Lite disassembly. I want to start off by saying this is one of the more premium looking and feeling device that I've seen on a lower priced model phone. Usually when a phone has three models, the higher end, the mid tier, and the lower end device, the highest end model seems to have all the bells and whistles along with the more premium look and feel of the phone. However, with the Huawei P40 Lite, it looks and feels just as premium as the rest of the line of the P40 phones, even though it doesn't sport all the high end hardware. The way they have the middle matte and the borders on both sides glossy, it's really nice. Let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at the inside. First, let's pop out that SIM tray. Now we're going to apply heat with either a hairdryer or a heat gun to loosen up the adhesive on the back plate. And then we're going to pry the back plate off using a plastic pry tool. So here's the back plate. Definitely feels more like plastic than glass to me, or it might be a possible mix of plastic and glass. But glass wouldn't bend like this. First thing I gotta say after taking the back plate off, I'm very relieved to find that there are pull tabs for the battery. This will definitely make it easier to pry off the battery if you need to replace it. There are 18 Phillips screws in total, holding down the top and bottom plastic covers. Once the screws are removed, we can remove the covers. Here's your top plastic cover. It's got a graphite film going over it. Here's the other side. After disconnecting the battery, we can go ahead and disconnect the rest of the cables. Let's go ahead and remove the front-facing camera. Here's a better look at your front-facing camera. There's one wire cable over here. Pop that up. There are two more Phillips screws holding down the main board, one by the camera assembly over here, and you have one right underneath this cable right here. Once the screws are removed, the motherboard can be pulled out. So here's the front of your main board. And here's the back side of the main board. You have your SIM reader right here. Now, as far as the cameras go, it looks like they really wanted to keep the connectors connected. In order to disconnect them, you have to pop off these metal plates. You remove that, and you'll be able to disconnect this camera. Now on the front side, you got another metal plate right here. You have to pop that off, and then you have access to disconnecting the rest of the cables over here, and you got one right here. Now, one more thing to point out on the back side of the main board. You have thermal paste right here, which makes contact with the mid frame and transfers the heat. Removing the removable shield reveals more thermal paste underneath. As for the front, you got some more resistors and chips underneath, but no more thermal paste. Time to pry off the speaker assembly. Here's your speaker assembly. You got some graphite film right here. You also have your vibrator motor down here. To remove your charger port board, there's one wire cable and one flex cable that need to be disconnected. And then there's a really strong adhesive strip underneath the charger port board. You have to pry that off. Here's your charger port board. Your charger port and your headphone jack both have rubber gaskets around them. Alright, onto the battery. You have three pull tabs labeled 1, 2, and 3. Let's go ahead and lift those up. I'm going to try to keep the pull tab as intact as much as possible, so I'm just going to apply heat to the battery and just pry it off the old-fashioned way, so the pull tabs can be used later on if need be. So at this point you have your mid frame, you have your cable which connects your main board to your charger port board, this flex cable right here. You have your screen cable right here, which runs through the slit over here in the mid frame. You have your earpiece speaker up here. You got your power button volume key cables over here. There are also 2 Phillips screws holding the power button down. And right over here on top, you have a small board that has gold contacts on there. That's going to be your proximity sensors. So if you wanted to replace your screen, you'd have to pry your screen cable off the mid frame over here. And then you'd have to heat the front of the screen up so you can loosen up the adhesive underneath, and you'd pry your screen off. You'd run your cable through the slit, and then you'd take your new screen, run the cable through the slit, apply it back to the front, and just reassemble the phone. So overall, it's a fairly easy phone to repair, especially with those battery pull tabs. It makes it easier to pull your battery off. It's got a pretty sturdy mid frame. I mean, I don't want to break it, but I think it should hold up under certain pressure before bending. But don't take my word for it literally, because everyone's strength is different. And I'm pretty sure some people would be able to bend this phone in half. Let's go ahead and put the phone back together. Once all the screws are back in place, go ahead and place the back cover back over. Apply some new adhesive if needed. Flip the phone over, power it on, and you're done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification icon so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.